Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Have you noticed that the United States of America is mostly the only country that demands things from other countries? They always have a grievance somewhere. Some of its interests have been tarnished somewhere around the globe. Something needs to be given to the United States of America. The United States of America has to get that. Have you noticed this? It's not Nicaragua having a problem with the United States of America. It's the United States of America having a problem with Nicaragua, for instance. Or in this case, it's not Afghanistan having a problem with the United States of America and demanding, the Americans treat their women more decently and not having them run around with camel toes and their nipples in the air. Let me put it, even though some might like that. It's the Americans or the guys in charge of the United States of America that try to impose their, worldview on other countries. In this case, America demands its military base back from Afghanistan. So first, why back? When we had a military base over there. Why? We want it back. Trump issues a threat and an ultimatum to Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a sovereign, independent country, and Trump wants that military base back because it's ours on your territory. Do you understand this? It's nobody wants anything from us being these guys, but they always want something from everybody else. Why is that? Do you think this is done in the name of freedom, justice, democracy, or just because we can and we're gonna take over? And when I say we, I make a mistake. It's not we, it's they, right? We are not they, right? They are they, we are we. All right, so this is the first topic. The Americans issue an ultimatum to Afghanistan. The guys in charge of Afghanistan, which is not the America's business, they reject Trump's ultimatum. And those are the Taliban, the ones that we, again, destroyed, but then we left somehow. Why? Because the sponsors of the war, the profiteers, made enough money from us to reconstruct Afghanistan. Now they want round two. The problem is with the round two is that the Taliban also has some friends, better friends, good friends in the name of Russia and China. Here we go again. And China rejects that ultimatum. And because this kind of ultimatums and bullying tactics work, I will show you how it works in the name of, or in the case of Iran and North Korea as well. Iran just gets out or ends cooperation with International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. Ends it. That's it. We're not going to comply. We're done with you. Why? The Russians and Chinese are behind and said, we will protect you. And then we have King Jong-un, as another topic for this video. He said, I have no problem meeting Trump as long as I'm treated decently, and he stops with the obsession of the nuclear weapons. That is, you have to treat me with some dignity, not respect, dignity. And these guys refuse to do that. That's why the Russians got into Ukraine as a reason. After NATO, they said, we want to be treated as an equal. The same with the Chinese. We want to be treated as an equal, with respect. We demand respect because we earned respect, just with our military, and that's enough. All right, so let's start with the first topic. And that is, or the umbrella topic is, bullying does not work anymore. The other club feels confident enough and is able to withstand the bullying threats and blackmail and possible attacks, and that's Ukraine. The bully boy was stopped in Ukraine. Why? Because the bully boy as of now, fought countries like Yugoslavia, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. They bombarded Iran. Iran struck us back. Oh, they couldn't even win against the Houthis. And they said, we're going to start a BS in Ukraine. Oh, no. The Russians started that one. All right. So let me show you. The keyword is back. This is the funniest thing. Russia Today, 20th of September. United States wants key Afghan airbase back. President Trump said that the Bagram airfield should not have been abandoned to the Taliban. Well, the Taliban is in charge of Afghanistan, you like it or not. That's none of your business, as the Taliban doesn't ask for the removal of Trump and the destitution, how do you call it, destroying the destruction of democracy. They're against democracy, so why shouldn't their worldview be implemented in the United States of America? I haven't heard that really said lately, but we tell them how to live. That is their country, it's their family. I have mine, I should stick with mine, you should stick with yours. Once I stick my nose in yours, you have the same right to stick yours in mine. But no, because we are just us, don't do that. So here, US President Trump has said he wants to regain control of Bagram Airbase in northeastern Afghanistan. Just because you occupied and you built over there an airfield, an airbase, it does not mean it belongs to you. It shouldn't have been built in the first place. American troops hastily evacuated the base in 2021, a month before Taliban militants seized Kabul, toppling the UN-backed government and ending a 20-year US occupation of the country. We should have never given it up. What do you mean, we? Who's we? Trump told reporters at the Oval Office. One of the reasons we want the base back is, it's an hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. Oh, okay. And what would the Chinese do to you or agree to you? We want that base back, he said. Read it? Okay. Trump issues threat to Afghanistan over Bagram Airbase. The US president said bad things will happen if the Taliban doesn't surrender the key airfield. Remember, the lion and the savannah does not negotiate with the jackals or the vultures or with anybody else. Let's say the lionesses are just going over there and are killing a buffalo. When the lion shows up, what happens? It's not asking everybody, excuse me, can I join in? He comes in, roars, and everybody gets out of there. So that means you don't need, if you're strong, you don't need diplomacy. That's in the animal reign. We are part of the animal reign. We act the same way. If I can take it from you and nobody stops me, I will take it from you. Got it? All these things with, oh my God, no, you're a good person. Oh, those things go out the window as soon as you are unchecked. That's what it is. You're unchecked, you do whatever you want. You decide what the law is and how far you and everybody else can go. Obviously, it's going to be a two-tier freedom of grabbing by the pussy, as Trump said. So remember, these guys say that they are going to want this back. They give a threat. Bad things will happen, not could, will happen if the Taliban doesn't surrender the base. So that is, you give me that, otherwise I will punch you in the face. You give me your lunch bag, otherwise I will punch you in the face. Remember, talking about diplomacy, the United States of America had a toolbox full of diplomatic tools, which could be knowledge, expertise, charm, intelligence, ability, skills. Well, they took those out because they didn't need that after the fall of the Soviet Union. And they remained with 4 tools, which is threats, blackmail, regime change, and attack, bombardment, direct attack. So the US is using only this, has been using for 34 years, since 1991. Now the problem is the other guys are getting stronger and they need to bring back the people who really are diplomats, like Lavrov of Russia, like Peter Szijjártó of Hungary, like Dr. Jaishankar of India, like Wang Yi of China. Those are diplomats. Not Annalena Baerbock, Baboon, infantile Kaya Kallas, and the other guys in the United States of America and Great Britain, Liz Truss and others. Those are not diplomats. So they have to regain the skills because they can't punch them in the face and just grab it. So Trump is the same. I want it, I take it. Otherwise, I punch you in the face. This is your country. If you like that, I hope that happens to you as well. With your house, with your wife, with your car, with whatever you have. I hope your neighbor stronger than you comes and does the same thing to you. I want that. And if you don't, I will punch you. I hope that happens to you. If you think that's right, that should happen to you. But you can't think that's right, my friend. You can't. Unless you are very, very much unjust. So let's see what other threats that guy says or makes. US President Donald Trump has threatened unspecified reprisals if the Taliban government in Afghanistan fails to hand over airbase. American troop hastily paka if Afghanistan doesn't give Bagram Airbase back to those that built it. The United States of America, bad things are going to happen. Do you understand? So if it doesn't give it back to the guys who built it, we will strike you back. It's not about the building. They're going to give you all the bricks if you want, but you want the territory. You want the location. You don't want the bricks. You don't want the concrete. If these guys tomorrow give you every little brick from all that airbase that you built on their land, in their household, this guy's going to find something else. We want some moral, payments or something. They don't want the base that we built it. They want the location. Did you hear? That's 1 hour from where China makes its nuclear weapons, according to Trump. Now, I have to remind you, those guys are bad guys, but we are bad guys in their eyes. So then they should do the same thing to us? Well, they didn't build anything because they've never been here. Why were we over there? Why did the United States of America attack Afghanistan? Do you remember? Oh, yeah, the war on terror. How did it start? They hate our freedoms. That's what we were told. That's why September 11, all that. Not because of shalom. No. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's see the response. The 21st. Taliban rejects Trump's ultimatum. The US president had earlier demanded the return of the airbase to Washington. Afghanistan has rejected US President Donald Trump's ultimatums that the airbase be returned to American control, insisting that such demands violate the 2020 Taliban-US agreement on the withdrawal of troops. You got it? Let's see what these guys are talking about. On Sunday, Trump warned that if Afghanistan doesn't give the facility back, unspecified bad things are going to happen. Imagine Russia will demand like this about, Germany or something like that. The US leader had earlier lamented Washington's loss of the base, noting its proximity to China. All right, it says here, later that day, Hamdullah Fitrat, deputy spokesman of the Taliban-run Afghanistan government, noted that Kabul has made it clear to the US in all negotiations that the country's, and I'm quoting, independence and territorial integrity are of the utmost importance. Well, you missed the point. You do what I tell you. It doesn't matter what we negotiated. We can break a negotiation and we change our mind. And I'm quoting, it should be recalled that under the Doha Agreement, the United States pledged that it will not use or threaten force against the territorial integrity or political independence of Afghanistan, nor interfere in its internal affairs. These are words, man. These guys can lie with one side of the mouth and with the other one lie again. Rather than repeating past failed approaches, a policy of realism and rationality should be adopted. This guy says, all right, so these guys said no. And not only they said no, the Chinese said no. Taliban and China reject Trump's bid to reestablish airbase in Afghanistan. The US president has announced, Let's see what these guys say. China respects Afghanistan's independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity. Afghanistan's future should rest in the hands of the Afghan people. Stirring up tensions and confrontation in the region will not be supported. You got it? All right. Without the US maintaining any military presence in any part of Afghanistan, get out. All right? So, the way is a thuggish way. It's Al Capone's way. And I'm using Al Capone even though Al Capone is nothing compared with the guys in charge of us right now ripping us off. All right, so that's with that. We want our airbase back from your country that we occupied at one point and we built. Therefore, it's ours. We can come back wherever we want. All right, and let me show you how these threats worked before. Right now, they will work zero. Why? China and Russia will not allow that to happen. Will not. All right, this is what happened to Iran. This is the consequence of the American bombardment in the name of Israel. Russia Today. Iran to halt cooperation with UN nuclear watchdog. Why? Because IAEA is a jackal organization, as Israel will call it probably. Western European nations' move to reimpose sanctions has derailed a recent monitoring agreement, Tehran has said. On Friday, the US Security Council voted to reimpose sanctions on Iran, which had been suspended in return for curbs of its nuclear program in 2015 deal. The so-called snapback mechanism was initiated by Britain, France, and Germany last month. The ill-considered actions of the three European countries regarding the Iranian nuclear issue will effectively suspend the path of cooperation with the agency. Iran ends cooperation with IAEA over nuclear program amid renewed tensions with the West. Again, the West, not Bangladesh, not Honduras, not Nicaragua. No, it's the West. Why? They think they run the show, as Lavrov said. Iran has announced it will no longer cooperate with the International Atomic Energy Agency following what it called reckless actions by the United Kingdom, France, and Germany regarding its nuclear program. I want them to go and look into the Israel's nuclear program. After they figure that out, then they should come back and visit America, and then after America they should go and visit anybody else, unless some countries have special privileges. And they do. Why? Remember the lion? Okay. The lion doesn't ask. The lion just goes and takes. And let me show you another country that wants to be treated with respect. This is right here. China and North Korea. Xi Jinping may attend massive North Korean military parade in October. That tells you what? Hands off North Korea. Putin is over there. Xi Jinping is over there. The Americans are not. And here it is. I still have fond memories of Trump, Kim Jong-un. He knows, he learned that stroking this guy's ego will get you a long way. So, I get fond memories of Trump. What did he do to you, Kim Jong-un? And then we have this one. Kim Jong-un open to meeting Trump, and I'm quoting, if United States end its nuclear obsession. And here I have friends will be friends. All right. Why? This country says, you know what? We are not afraid. We're strong enough, and you're weak enough. Your threats could not be put into practice because we are not afraid, and we can deter you or even smack you like Russia does to you at this moment. They wanted to be treated with respect. The problem is you have one guy with some jackals around, which is the West supposedly, trying to impose everything the boss wants to the rest of the world. The problem is the rest of the world is strong enough, a few countries, that made a club, BRICS, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and so on, which are able to tell the other guys, back off. And they will have to back off. And you know what this is? This is the threats. These are the blackmails. These are the red lines. These are the bluffs that Trump makes, and the whole world sees it. It shows our limitations, our weaknesses. They couldn't kneel China with the tariffs. They can't kneel India with the tariffs. They can't destroy Russia militarily and economically and financially and politically. However, so the world sees, okay, so that's all these guys can do. They can't even fight the Houthis. They struck Iran and Iran immediately struck them. So, whoa. You're weak. You're shaky. All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Remember, if we are to be just, then the law applies equally to everybody. The problem is no, they say it does, but they always have their different set of rules, which is I do whatever I want. I take whatever I want. I blackmail everybody I want. And you have to look at me as being the good one. The good one. Russia is the imperialistic power, not the United States of America. But they make threats. Otherwise, we're going to smack you. Because that airbase is ours. I mean, can you imagine the idiocracy of this claim? But he does it. Is that the way he thinks? Or he knows that the big strata of the population doesn't catch that? Yeah, man, it's ours, man. We built it. If someone gets in your house and builds in your house, I don't know, a bed, he can always come and use that bed with your wife? I'm just kidding. Not. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.